Hello. Today I want to talk about this Japanese Kitsune mask that I made for a friend of mine. It's actually the wrong size for his face, so I'm going to end up reprinting this and going through the same sanding, painting, and finishing process. But today I want to talk about how I 3D model this, the different tools I used in Fusion 360 to make this, and some of the different features I used to make small details like these little engravings that go all across the mask. So let's get right into it. Whenever I start 3D modeling a helmet or a mask or a faceplate, anything that has to go on a human head, I like to use a generic model of a 3D head, generic 3D scan of, I don't even know who this is actually, just a 3D scan of some guy. But what I do is I take that and I use the mesh tool in Fusion 360, which essentially lets me form like a lump of clay around the person's face. And I can slowly kind of sculpt the profile of the thing I'm trying to make, and then I can cut from different directions to get the actual shape that I need. And that's how I form the base of every helmet or mask that I make. The mesh feature can get a little complicated, and a lot of people have suggested that I just use Blender instead. In my opinion, the mesh tool in Fusion 360 basically is a little like Blender plugin, and I don't feel like using a different program, so this is the way I do it. You can do it however you want. My methods get results. End of the day, that's what matters.
Listen, man. Come on. Beat steady knocking, the beat steady knocking, the beat. What? Listen, man. Come on. Listen, man. Come on.
A lot of the extra work in shaping the mask was done using the shell tool. The shell tool allows you to click the back surfaces or faces of the mask you're working on and set them to a predetermined wall thickness, and then Fusion 360 will go and just carve out all of the space on the inside for you, assuming the shell tool decides to work. Sometimes it doesn't, and you have to kind of use a scaled down copy of the object to hollow it out properly. But in this case, it works out. It carves the inside of the masks for me, and then I can go and do the rest of the shaping that I need to the front and add all the extra details.
Listen, man. Come on. Listen, man. Come on. Listen, man. Come on. Listen, man. Come on. Do you hit the baseline? Listen, man.
For all the engravings on the mask, I'm drawing all of the shapes that I want in the background, and then I'm going to use the split body tool to have all of them come forward and cut through the face without actually punching a hole like the extrude tool would do. The eyes can be cut out because they were going to be cut out anyway, but all of the other pieces are just going to be little sections. It's almost like punching out pieces of dough with like a cookie cutter. I'm letting the material stay on the inside, but I'm making the cuts around it so that way I can pull them forward or backwards a little bit depending on how I want it to engrave. And I'm going to pull them forward, and those will be the sections that are kind of raised up over the surface of the mask that I'll be able to paint later to give it the little patterning that you saw earlier. And this is probably the most time-consuming part because there's just so many different designs that go along it, and I have to draw each of them from scratch, but then some of the designs are overlapping, so I need to make a cut, pull a piece forward for the engraving, and then other parts need to be pulled either further forward or maybe pushed a little further behind those pieces so you can get parts to overlap without actually having them be perfectly fused together. And that's probably where the bulk amount of time in the design went, was just adding the engravings to it. The bare mask by itself with no details on it probably didn't take more than a couple of hours, but the engravings, that's definitely where a lot of the time went into this. If you're looking to 3D print one of these masks for yourself, you can head over to the new Lost Armory website. There you'll find STL files, physical props, a section for putting in custom build requests, or you can look through the archive to see some of the things that I've built in the past. Check it out.